Hello, this is Roger Daltrey and welcome to another unboxing video. And in case you hadn't read the description, I'm doing the Marvin Gaye box set, so I'm not stabbing it against my head, no. This is the final of the trilogy box sets, 1971 to 1981, or if you want to call it, you can call this the Brown box set. So here's the back of the box with the albums mentioned, and this brings us up to date now. This, we've been waiting a while for this one actually. Because we did Volume 1, otherwise known as the Blue box set, and that was very good. And then we did Volume 2, which was the Orange box set, and that was very good. And now we have this. And then that's it, we're done. Oh yeah, we're done. Unless they do a box set for the live albums, like Marvin Gaye recorded live on stage, Marvin Gaye Live, or Live at the London Palladium, which had his third #1 UK single called Got to Give It Up, which is the title of a Tin Lizzy song, and in case most of you don't know, I am totally done with them. But here's and on the front of the box, it's actually the front cover of one of these albums. So without any hesitation, let's get this opened up. Been dying to get this one opened up because this is an exciting one. So I'll put the cellophane over here, and now as we open them up, it's a tight box. It's very tight. Ah, there we go. So here we go. So here's Marvin Gaye's 11th studio album, What's Going On, from 1971. And this is definitely my favourite Marvin Gaye album. Oh, and this album was very different from his previous releases, and this album was ignored by most fans when it first came out, and Marvin stated that he would not release another album unless this came out, and his wish got granted, so it finally came out. This record was ranked at number 6 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. And the title track was voted number 4 for the songs. And also the title track was dedicated to Marvin's brother Frankie, who fought in the Vietnam War. And I'll just get the disc. I'm sure they like the Brown box set. And they are. And even the front of the box is the front cover of What's Going On. And speaking of which, I have the album here on CD as well, so some lucky viewer is going to win this if I host a raffle. So that is What's Going On. But this is a masterpiece of a record. So that's What's Going On. Next came the soundtrack for the film Trouble Man, so we get the album Trouble Man. And it came out in 1972. And its title track was a huge success. And there's a cool song on here called Don't Mess with Mr. T, or There Goes Mr. T. And in fact, Mr. T was a nickname given to one of my classmates when I was in 4th class, as they were doing a talent show one day and they called themselves Mr. T. And that's what it is. And then here's the disc as usual. Sometimes albums can be soundtracks, like for example McVicker was also a movie as well as that. So that's Trouble Man. Next came in 1973 Let's Get It On. And this album involved another change in his music. And we all know the title track, Let's Get On, and we all know that's a very good song. And I'll just get the disc out for you. That. And this album was ranked number 165 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. But I'm not sure where the title track was. And just like What's Going On, I also have Let's Get On here on CD as well. So like I said on What's Going On, some lucky viewer will win this in the raffle if I host one. But anyway, that is those two. So some lucky viewer will win these 2 records. And a couple of others I'm going to give away soon. And another collaboration album, and the final one actually. This time with Diana Ross, titled Diana and Marvin. And it also came out in 1973. And this sold over 1 million copies worldwide. And all the title tracks on here, and all the song titles on here, are associated with love. Like, there's a song called Pledging My Love, which is very similar to Bob Dylan's track Pledging My Time, and loads of other romantic title tracks here on here. And then I'll get the disc for you, same as before. I forgot to show you the disc on Let's Get It On, but I guarantee that it's the same. And by the way, the light was turned on because it's getting dark outside nearly. Next in 1976 came I Want You, and we all know the track I Want You, and that's very good. And this album focuses on disco elements. And there's 3 different styles of I Want You on this, and they are vocal, intro jam, and jam. I think it would have been nice to combine them all into one song together. And I think After the Dance is so far the only track that he's done instrumental. There's also a vocal performance of After the Dance. And I'll just get the disc out for you. Same. And this probably came out at the time of its 40th anniversary for this box set. And the song I Want You is also the title of a track from Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde. And it was also the title of the Kiss song I Want You from Rock and Roll Over. And it was also the title track for Lou Graham's band Shadow King as he left Foreigner. And as I said, I'm a huge Foreigner fan, but of course only with Lou Graham, of course. But that's I Want You. Next we get a double album, Here My Dear, from 1978. This album was a huge disappointment, and some of these title tracks here had Marvin falling very, very low. And I think at this time his marriage with Anna Gordy was failing, and I think Anna sued Marvin for a divorce. And here's the disc, pretty much the same as before. And this album was also ranked on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time, but I don't know whereabouts it was ranked, and I don't know why they put on this if this was a disappointment. And some songs on this include When Did You Stop Loving Me, When Did I Stop Loving You, for an instrumental version, a reprise version, and a version with vocals. So basically Marvin has 3 albums ranked on this list. What's Going On, Let's Get On, and Here My Dear. And then tragically in 1979, Marvin was plagued with financial troubles, drug addiction and marital issues. And then we come to the final album on Motown Records, In Our Lifetime, 1981. And this album produced a big hit for him called Heavy Love Affair. And I've seen it in the WatchMojo.com video of Life and Career of Marvin Gaye. And then here is the same disc as usual. So anyway, that's the end of the box sets, and now as a bonus, I'm going to throw in his last record here, Midnight Love, 1982. And this is his most successful album to date, and it's the only one on Columbia Records. And this album produces his biggest hit ever called Sexual Healing. And we all know that song, that's a really good song. And the last track on here called My Love Is Waiting, at the beginning it has Marvin saying a huge thank you to everybody for listening to his discography. And the song Midnight Lady has a guy named James Gadsden on drums. For those of you that don't know him, he played on the Booker T and the MGs album That's the Way It Should Be for some tracks that Steve Jordan couldn't play on. But this album here is a classic. So anyway, there you go, that's Marvin Gaye Volume 3, 1971 to 1981, and Midnight Love. And then after the tour of Midnight Love ended, he moved back to his parents' home, but the atmosphere there was fraught with quarrelling. And then tragically, on April 1st, 1984, one of those arguments ultimately led to Marvin's death after he was shot by his father. Only one day before he turned 45, which is probably the most tragic kind of death to occur, if dying before your birthday. And then he had posthumous releases, which were Dream of a Lifetime from 1985, as well as Romantically Yours, and 1997's Vulnerable. But anyway, I highly recommend you buy all 3 of these box sets. And for those of you that know Marvin Gaye, when it gets to his anniversary on April 1st, 1984, post something on your timeline saying how Marvin Gaye was a true legend. And don't forget to watch the Marvin Gaye Final 24 documentary. I will leave a link below so you can watch it, and that's how you'll find out about Marvin Gaye's death, and then you can see how tragic it was. Thanks very much. It's been a long series, this has been. But I highly recommend you buy them all. You might have to buy this and Volume 2 from Tower or wherever, and then Volume 1 must be ordered online, because that's what I did for Christmas, because these were Christmas presents for me. Okay, and then I should be back tomorrow with the first Rod Stewart box set. Thank you very much. Take care and bye-bye.